You know, real-life mysteries can sometimes be stranger than anything Hollywood could dream up. Let me tell you about a story that's been haunting experts and mystery enthusiasts alike for over 60 years. In February 1959, 9 hikers set out on an expedition in the icy, remote Ural Mountains of Russia. They were a skilled group of mountaineers, all students or recent graduates from the Ural Polytechnic Institute, led by 23-year-old Igor Dyatlov. Their goal was to reach the peak of Kholat-Syakhl, a place the local Mansi tribe calls Dead Mountain, but their journey would soon end in tragedy, leaving us with one of the most chilling mysteries in history. If you're drawn to stories that leave you questioning what we think we know, make sure to subscribe, because this story has baffled scientists, historians, and paranormal investigators for decades. Now let's dive into what's become known as the Dyatlov Pass incident. Setting out on January 27th, the group began their trek in good spirits, capturing photos and jotting down diary entries. Despite the difficult conditions, they were well prepared and equipped to handle the harsh Russian winter. But within days, things took a tragic turn. When the hikers didn't return as expected, search teams were dispatched to find them. Days of searching led the rescue team to their campsite, and what they found there was chilling beyond words. The group's tent, half buried in snow, was found abandoned. But it wasn't just empty. The tent had been slashed open from the inside, as if the hikers had been desperate to escape. Scattered around the tent were shoes, coats, and other supplies, suggesting that the hikers fled in a panic, leaving behind critical gear despite the life-threatening 30-degree temperatures outside. Even more disturbingly, the team's footprints led away from the tent in a calm, organized line, as if they'd chosen to walk into the freezing wilderness rather than stay in shelter. What could possibly compel 9 seasoned hikers to do such a thing? As searchers spread out, they began finding the bodies, each discovery more baffling than the last. The first 2 bodies, Yuri Krivonashenko and Yuri Doroshenko, were found near the remains of a small fire under a cedar tree, wearing only their underclothes. Their hands were bloodied, and bits of bark were found lodged under their fingernails, leading investigators to think they had tried to climb the tree in a desperate attempt to escape or spot something. Scattered branches lay beneath them, almost as if they'd fought something off. The remaining hikers were found at varying distances from the tent. Dyatlov himself was found clutching a tree branch, his face frozen in a look of terror. Another hiker, Rustem Slobodin, had a fractured skull but no visible marks or wounds. Then there was Zenaida Kolmogorova, found lying in a position suggesting she had been crawling back toward the tent. But the most perplexing discovery came when the last 4 hikers were found months later, buried under several feet of snow in a ravine. These final 4 bore injuries that were as strange as they were severe. 2 had major chest trauma, described as comparable to the force of a high-speed car crash, yet with no external injuries, as if the force had come from inside. Lyudmila Dubinina, another team member, was found with her eyes and tongue missing, a discovery that would haunt investigators for years. The absence of these organs was never fully explained, but some thought it might be the work of scavenging animals. The bizarre discoveries didn't stop there. When the hikers' clothing was tested, it was found to contain high levels of radiation, sparking theories about nuclear testing or secret government experiments. And then there were the testimonies from locals who reported seeing glowing orange spheres in the sky around the time of the incident, leading some to believe they might have encountered something extraterrestrial. And then there's the mystery of the footprints. Despite the chaotic scene, all prints around the campsite indicated the hikers had walked calmly, in single file, away from the tent. There were no signs of a struggle, no animal tracks, and no evidence that they had been chased or forced out. What's even more unsettling is that each footprint was steady, showing no sign of the frantic escape their injuries and missing clothing suggested. How could they have simply walked to their deaths with no apparent reason? In the decades that followed, countless theories have tried to solve the mystery of Dyatlov Pass. Some believe it was a simple case of hypothermia-induced delusion, a phenomenon called paradoxical undressing, where severe cold causes people to remove their clothing as they experience irrational warmth. But this doesn't account for the intense injuries or the strange lights in the sky. Others have pointed to a rare weather phenomenon known as infrasound, low-frequency sound waves that can induce panic and hallucinations in humans. It's possible the noise triggered a wave of terror that sent the group fleeing into the night. Then there's the idea of a Soviet military cover-up. Given the era's secrecy, some speculate that the group stumbled upon a weapons test gone wrong, explaining the radiation and injuries. But the Soviet government closed the case quickly, citing an unknown compelling force as the cause of death, a conclusion that only deepens suspicions rather than resolving them. Over the years, the theories have only gotten stranger. Some insist that a yeti or other creature drove the hikers to flee, while others speculate that they encountered something supernatural in those desolate mountains. For those who believe in extraterrestrial encounters, the glowing lights, radiation, and unexplainable injuries suggest that the hikers may have witnessed or even come into contact with something not of this earth. Today, despite several investigations, the Dyatlov Pass incident remains unsolved. In recent years, a new official investigation tried to rule out some of the wilder theories, concluding that an avalanche might explain some, but not all, of the strange evidence. And still, questions linger. What truly happened that night on Dead Mountain? How did 9 experienced hikers meet such a grim fate? So, what do you think happened to them? Was it a natural disaster, a military mishap, or something beyond our understanding? Share your theories in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe if you're intrigued by mysteries like this. There are so many stories out there that push the boundaries of what we know, and this is just one of them.